What is the best day and time of day or night to send your emails? That is a big question for anyone who does email marketing. You're paying for your email, autoresponder service month over month, and so you want to make the most of this investment. And of course, you're working hard to build your list, and you want to make sure you're doing everything that you can to reach them and to get them to read your emails and to act on your emails. And even though I've been doing email marketing now since 2008, and right now in my job, I am responsible for emailing 100,000 subscribers every week. This is still a question that I continue to ask myself, grapple with, and find the answers. So in this video, I want to help you to find the correct answers for your own email marketing efforts. Now, when you ask, what is the best day and time to send an email, and you go online, you are going to find a lot of different answers depending on the source. A lot of companies have done their own research, and these are really good studies in the sense that some of them cover millions of emails. So they have a lot of data to work with. But in spite of that, there is no single definite answer for each and every email marketer. So let me just show you some examples. This is a blog post on the Engine Mailer site. And they're saying, what's the best day to send emails? Well, turns out the 3 best days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because as you can see here, those days have the highest open rates. Sorry, what am I looking at? Okay, and they're citing research by CoSchedule. Tuesdays seem to have the highest open rate, but as you can see, the difference is not that big compared to Monday. And also a click-through rate. And then they're saying the worst day to send an email is Saturday and Sunday. And then there's another study here by Experian that also says Tuesday seems to be the best day based on open rates, while Thursday is a good second choice or second day. And then they're saying that MailChimp and Customer.io's research seems to confirm that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are the best days to send your emails based on open rates. But another research, they're saying another research this time by Experian, is showing that Saturday and Tuesday, again, have the highest open rates, which means that, hey, weekends might actually not be a very bad day to send your emails. And then GetResponse says they actually got the highest open rates on Friday. So if you look at all this data coming from companies, organizations that have done their own research and it seems to be good data, you can end up getting very confused. But what is consistent here is that Tuesday seems to be consistently good. And now let's look at the best time to send email messages. So this is from Bob Bly's newsletter, where he is quoting the CEO's Edge, July 14, 2021 edition, where Stephen S. Ketsis of ClickFunnels says that there's several different best times to send your email. 10 a.m. is the most popular for late morning emails. 8 p.m. to midnight actually can also be a good time because people are, check their emails after dinner before going to bed. 2 p.m. seems to be a good time for the afternoon because that's when a lot of people are taking a break from work. 6 a.m. could also work because people check their emails. A lot of people check their email first thing in the morning as soon as they wake up and even before they jump out of bed. So those are all good times. And then this is from CoSchedule. They're saying again 10 a.m., 8 p.m., 2 p.m., 6 a.m. So that seems to be consistent, right? And then let's look at the thing with those numbers is they are based on a lot of data, but there are actually a lot of factors that go into what is the best day, what is the best time. And one of those factors is your industry, what industry you are in. So for example, when Campaign Monitor broke down, analyzed their data, imagine they have data from over 30 billion emails, right? And when they broke this down by agency, they found that the best day or the days that get the highest open rates actually vary depending on the industry. So for advertising and marketing agencies, the best day was Tuesday. For education, it's Sunday. For healthcare, it's Wednesday. For travel, hospitality, and leisure, it's Tuesday. And food and beverage, it's Wednesday. So that's all and good if you can find your industry in this list, on this list. But what if you're in a different industry? What if you're in parenting? Or what else? What if you're promoting a book? You're a book author. So we can't find the answers here. Okay. But this can be a good starting point. And then let's look at also the time when you break down by industry, the time of day, the best time to send your emails can also change. So this is based on Sendinblue's data, where when they broke down their data by industry, so again, the best time differs according to the industry. For e-commerce, it's 10 a.m. For software, it's between 2 to 3. Marketing services, it's 4 p.m. Hospitality, online retail, 8 to 10. Professional services, B2B, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then for nonprofits, it's actually 3 to 4 p.m. So again, really interesting how the answers can change depending on your industry. So a lot of it is going to depend on your audience. So the best thing really is to know your audience. Who are you emailing? And it also depends, I think, on what kind of email you're sending. Are you sending a nurturing email like a newsletter, a weekly newsletter, or are you sending a series of emails based on a specific campaign? So, for example, if it's a newsletter, then I would suggest that you send it on the same day every week. You have to be consistent, build that consistency in so that your subscribers know exactly when they can expect your email, and then it can become a habit for them. You know, if you decide Monday, let's say, because your email is you're setting them up for the week, and so you want to send your email Monday at 8 a.m. and you have a good reason for doing that given all this data, then stick to that. So then it becomes like, oh, a Monday morning habit for your subscribers. But that may not be applicable to your particular newsletter. So think of what is your newsletter all about? who's your audience, what is your goal for the newsletter, and that's going to help you to decide like what is a good day and time to send your newsletter. Now, let's say, what about your onboarding emails? And by onboarding emails, I mean the automated email series or sequence that people get when they subscribe to your list. So for that, I would actually recommend usually like the first email goes out immediately, right? Upon subscribing or signing up. And then I would recommend that for the next emails that they be sent at the same time. So when you set up your sequence, have it sent out in relation to that first email. So let's say email 1 is sent out immediately upon subscription, and then the next email comes out 24 hours after they subscribe, and then the third email comes or goes out 48 hours after they subscribed. And the reason is, you know that at that time they are online and they are on the web and they're on their email, presumably. If they're subscribing at that time for your stuff, then you know that's when they're active online. Now, what if you're sending a sequence of emails as part of a campaign? Let's say you're launching a product, or you're launching your product. So then you have, let's say, 5, 7, no matter how many emails going on. So of course, like the first day and the last day, that's decided by your campaign dates, right? Like when your campaign begins, so that's the day that presumably your first email will come out, and when the campaign ends is when the last email goes out. But what about the time? Like you might want to vary it a bit, especially if you're sending so many emails one after the other, let's say daily or almost daily. I would not recommend that you send them out on the same day every time, because that might be a good time to actually vary. So day 1 you might send at 10 a.m. Day 2 you might send a little later or a little earlier. Again, it'll have to depend on what is the content of the email and the goal for the email. So for example, a very common practice when we're in a campaign, you're rolling out a sequence of emails in a campaign, is to resend an email to people who have not opened it. And so if you sent out the original email at 10 a.m. and then you're resending to people who have not opened, then why would you resend it at 10 a.m. again, when maybe the reason they did not open originally is because they're busy at that time? So you might resend it at, if you resend at 10 a.m., you might resend it at 2 p.m. the next day or 2 days later. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of factors to consider, but you can use the data that's available as a starting point. So the bottom line is, know your audience. And sometimes really the only way that we can find out about our audience's specific email reading behavior is to test, to track your results, and then to adjust based on your results. So for example, here, these are weekly newsletters that I used to send out on Fridays. Now I know Friday is not supposed to be a good day, but I did have a reason for this. But starting mid-August, I started sending them out on Fridays. On Thursdays, and I did notice the open rates are higher, like it's 20.9 and then 22.9. But then first week of September, for whatever reason, this was sent out on a Thursday, but the open rate was only 10.8. Now that open rate is actually even lower than what it used to be on average when I was sending this newsletter on Fridays. So I what I did was I resent the same email with a different subject line the next day, or actually on a Saturday following that Thursday. And lo and behold, it's a Saturday, which is supposedly not necessarily an ideal day for sending out emails, but I got a 20% open rate. A Saturday, I believe this was at 1 p.m. because this is going out to young adults, and I was thinking back on the way that my own daughters behave is they wake up late around noon and then they check their phones. So I guess that worked. But which goes to show, like, there's no magic formula for a successful email based on just the day and the time that you send it. You are still really going to have to work really hard on your subject line to make sure that it is as compelling as possible, and then of course the actual email to ensure higher click-through rates. In this case, I think the open rate was higher because the subject line is probably better, and more compelling to my readers. Now, should I send out on a Saturday? I could experiment with that. Maybe give it another month or so. Oh, and I did want to say also, when you're testing, is be very mindful of the number of the amount of data that you have. If you have, let's say, less than 1,000 email subscribers, and then you decide to test, let's say, oh, I'm going to try sending my emails on Tuesdays at this time. Don't do just one test because you have a very small number of subscribers. Like, try to aim for maybe getting at least 1,000 opens, not sends. Okay, so for you that might take a month, or it might take 2 months, depending on your list size and the open rates that you do get. In my case, this list has around 70,000. It varies 70 to 77,000 people, or actually, yeah, 77,000 people receiving it. And so here the difference is because I had almost 10,000, well, 8,000 people opening the previous email, and so they were excluded from the next email. So then you could see that with just one email, I'm probably getting significant statistically significant results. I don't know for sure. That's a different computation. If you want to go deeply into that, you can find an A/B test significance calculator. Now, I should have had that open, but I will add that to the bottom of this video, so that you can plug in your numbers there and see if the changes that you're seeing are statistically significant. Because if you have a very small number of subscribers, you can't be relying on the results that you get by testing with just a few emails. So just make sure that you're making decisions based on actually statistically significant results. That's all that I have for you today. If you have questions about the best day and time to send your emails, just let me know and I will do my best to respond to you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.